Hi, it's John at Brotherton-accountscom. I just want to do a quick video today for people that are working within the CIS scheme who are on XERO. So there's a few settings that you need to get right, if you're a contractor, just to make sure that your invoices are accounted for correctly. And there's other things that you need to think about as well. So the domestic reverse charge, which I have done another video on, but there's quite a few things that you just need to get right within the settings, and once you have, it does make life a lot easier and gets everything right for you. Like I say, we're happy to help anybody if you wanted to phone the office after you've watched the video. But okay, so as a starting point, I just want to quickly show you, if you're CIS, if you're a contractor and you've got receipts coming in from your CIS subcontractors, they may be VAT registered, which if they are, then potentially there's the domestic reverse charge that needs to go in there. And also the labour element is going to have some CIS deductions on it. So the problem is if you don't get your settings right, you're going to be going into a bill. So as the bill comes in here, you haven't got any CIS nominals because you haven't set the system up and telling the system that you're a CIS contractor. And if you do get that right, it will show the deductions within the supplier invoice as you post it onto the system. So I just want to show you that. I've already triggered the domestic reverse charge, so if the subcontractor was VAT registered and it's all within the CIS scheme, you're VAT registered, then not always, but very usually it would be the domestic reverse charge would apply. So I can quickly show you where that you trigger those as well, but I've done another video on that. So as a starting point, you're a contractor within the CIS scheme and you need to get your settings right. So you click into your name, go to your settings, and then in here you've got your advanced settings. So just quickly, in your tax rates, up here, if you haven't already added them, you can click on add domestic reverse charge rates, and once you've added them, they go into your list. So that's how easy it is to add the domestic reverse charge rates for your VAT element of it. So what we're talking about really here is more the CIS settings. So if we go to look for advanced settings, and then within here we've got our financial settings. So down here, construction industry scheme. So I am a registered contractor. So it's asking us to put in our UTR number, the accounts office reference number, which we can put in there, and I just need to add in a made up PAYE reference number. There you go. If we save that, right, that's now got us in the system. So we've put our UTR number in, our accounts office reference number, and our PAYE reference number. So at that point now, when we go back to our bill, within here we've got CIS materials purchased and CIS labour expenses. So that is perfect. So now you've got the facility. So if there's a labour, CIS labour bill coming in off a supplier, subcontractor, for gross £500, and we put it to labour, and then they might be VAT registered, so we need to put it on the reverse charge as well. Okay, that will, once we've posted it, I'll show you in a minute, that once we've posted that, it will show the deductions. So let's just go back a stage quickly. Up here, let's add a new contact, which is a subcontractor. So this will just show it a bit better. So if we add CIS subcontractor, just put a name in there, so we can add as many items here as we want to. So in here now, because we've identified to the system that we're a contractor, it adds in this extra tab now, which usually that wouldn't be there. So if we hadn't filled in those initial settings, and this is where people don't always realise that it's there, because you know, if you're adding in a and once you've added these systems in, if you've got a contractor who's already in the system, you can go in and edit them, because that tab will be there for everybody. But within there now, we're saying, is the CIS? Yes, there is for this particular contact. What rate? 20%. Organisational type. You might be a sole trader. Save that. So we can put all these other details in. So now we've got this CIS subcontractor that's in the system that we can go in at any point and edit. But we've got this extra CIS subcontractor tab now. Okay, so hopefully that helps, you know, because you've got your systems now that you can, and your settings that you can go and set up. So if we go back now, so say that subcontractor works for us in May and sends us a bill at the end of May, we're going to be going in, and the bill, I mean the bill might come in through Dex or Hub Docs, but you know the same applies. So we've got sub, so I'm just entering it manually obviously, due date 31st. It may be we've had labour for £500, which is what we did before, and it's going through to this new CIS labour expense. So at that point now, it's doing the deductions for us. And then they may be have materials for £1,000. You can click in there, CIS materials. Okay, so it doesn't do the deduction, it's only doing the deduction on the labour element, and they may not be VAT registered, so we can know that. Well, it would be 0 rated. 0 rated. So there now we've got, you can see by putting those extra expense codes in and settings into the system, we've now got the invoice how it wants to go through the system. So we've got this £500 labour, it's showing the £100 deduction, which is our 20% on the labour element, and then we've got our materials at £1,000, which hasn't got any deductions against it, and then that can be approved. Now if it's coming through Dex, obviously you can do your settings in Dex, so it picks up these nominals, you know, these codes. So hopefully that's been useful. You know, there are just those extra few settings that you need to do to start getting it right. I mean, the amount of people we have saying to us, you know, I just can't get it right, because without those extra additions in at the start, you're not going to be able to show your deductions how you want to. Okay, right, hopefully that's been useful anyway, and like I say, feel free to call the office if you want any extra clarification on anything. Okay, thanks, and see you next time. Thank you, bye.